Hello everyone, I'm Adam Moss and the Panto Archive have asked me to do a Q&A. Thank you so much for asking me, more begging, I wouldn't say asking. And I did try and get out of it, but to be honest with you, nobody can get out of it because we're all in lockdown. So, here we go, here's the questions. What was my first experience of pantomime? I think my first experience of pantomime was when a touring panto come around the schools when I was in junior school, I think it was. And I remember just being there, and it was like very colourful. It was fun. It was energetic. I think there was only 3 people in the actual touring panto. I was a bit of a latecomer. I was actually in pantos before I actually watched pantos. So I think the person I saw was Brian Connolly in Cinderella down in Southend. And that was quite later on in my life, to be honest with you. I did loads of touring pantos and I did a lot of stuff abroad, which went down like a lead balloon because they never understood pantomime. But yeah, so that's my first introduction into pantomime, was when there was a touring panto go around the schools. Living or dead, if you could appear in pantomime with anyone else, who would it be? It would be the legend that is Norman Wisdom. Yes. He is my absolute idol, absolute brilliant comic genius, one of the very first sort of like, I would say the kind of Lee Evansy kind of style, the variety. I loved the kind of slapstick. And he had a good look about him as well. He was just a really good, fun looking character. And I think when you're doing pantomimes and stuff like that, especially with people, you just got to look funny, you know. And I think if you look at a lot of the comics that are on the circuit that we get casted for, we never get casted for the Prince, do we? So in fact, I'll tell you, there was a little story. I sent my stuff, my headshot to the producers of a particular panto. I won't tell her who it was. And I said, let me play the Prince. They went, have you seen your headshots? Yeah, so he would be my number one to go to, and I think second would be like Bruce Forsyth or someone like that, because if you've seen Norman Wisdom and Bruce Forsyth do the sketch, the wallpaper sketch, it's just genius. For its time, it's incredible. So yeah, that would be my answer to that. Is there a panto role you would love to play? Oh, well, this year I'm playing 6 characters, which I found very difficult, to be honest with you. I'm doing my online COVID Christmas panto. All tickets are available at adamoscomedy.co.uk. What a plug. But I would love to play a baddie. That would be my... I think it's very strange because I think a lot of comics want to play the baddie because we always get the kind of sort of like, we're the gel that holds the panto together, I feel. Panto Danes and Panto comics are very much like that. And I feel that, getting all the cheers, the laughs, this, that and the other, I think just completely flipping it on the head like, I don't know, like a King Rat or someone like that would be brilliant to play. And even, I'll tell you what, I'd love to play a hook. And I'll be a very short hook because I'm quite small. But yeah, so I think playing a baddie, because when you speak to anybody that's played a bad part, they always say, oh, it's the booze, it's just that kind of like, it's not, you can do whatever you want really, within reason, obviously. So yes, I would play a baddie, that's what I would do. Do you have a favourite theatre? Well, I've been at the Mansfield Palace Theatre for the past 6-7 years. I love that place. The people there are amazing, not just the audience, but the backstage staff. And but I've been to a couple of others. The Theatre 7 is amazing, right along on the side of the Theatre 7, and it's just a beautiful place and the beautiful people there as well. And especially at Christmas, it is very much that Charles Dickens kind of look, which apparently is where he wrote his Charles Dickens novel. But I think the Theatre 7, probably because I've worked there for a few years and I've also worked at the Mansfield. But there's some beautiful places up and down the country. I like the smaller theatres. I like anything that's quite intimate, especially being a comic, because you can get to them a little bit closer, and especially being a variety comic, everything for me is very facial, slapstick and good fun. So yeah, that's where I would go. I'd probably... Mansfield would always be my home. If I stay there, if I don't stay there, I'll always love that place because it's proper people that love a proper panto. So yeah, so I would go for Mansfield, but then I love the Theatre 7 because I just love the surroundings of it. Yeah, beautiful place. So there's that one. Bit long-winded, but you get the gist. Do you feel over the years Panto has changed or adapted to an ever-changing world? Um, yeah, I do think so. I think this year more than ever, I think that it's absolutely completely changed. You know, myself doing like an online panto, I never thought I'd ever be saying that. I never, you know, in the past 12 odd years I've been doing panto, I never thought I'd ever turn around and say I'd have a Christmas off. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you do have to adapt, and I think very strange for comics because I think something that I've done. I mean, I've looked at some of the scripts I've done like 10 years ago. I mean, some of the, and I know a lot of the comics would go, I'm glad that wasn't recorded, because there are some stuff that you probably wouldn't say now that you would have said 10, 12 years ago. And I think, again, a lot of comics, especially back in the 70s and the 80s, that were doing some certain stand-up, they wouldn't get away with that stuff now. So, yeah, I think that, yeah, there is a very ever-changing world. And again, I always say that with location as well, it always depends where you are as well in the country. I feel that I can get away with quite a lot where I'm down in the Midlands, but when I go up north, again, it's quite good. But when I go down south, there's a bit of an and ah. So yeah, I mean, it all depends where I am or where I'm playing. But yeah, but that's a really good answer, a really good question to be honest with you, because yeah, I do feel that Panto has changed a hell of a lot over the past 20 odd years, you know, and even writing scripts are very difficult now because you're always second guessing. And again, with a lot of comics, and I'm sure a lot of people on here will say the same thing, is that with a lot of comics, we go out and test it, and there's always the rule of three. You do it 3 times. If you don't get a laugh, then it's out. And it's happened quite a few times. So yeah, so that would be my answer to that. So yeah, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for letting me take part in this Panto archive. Thank you very much. And don't forget to book on to the COVID Christmas Panto at Adamos Comedy. See you later on, gang. Bye!